Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, the show committed to helping you grow, protect, and enjoy your money, business, and life.
Wanted to get with you. This is really something that seems to be scratching a lot of itches, and it looks like it's pretty lucrative.
Well, it's one of the best business decisions that I've made, becoming a rep.
My intent now is being in that call center is letting people know this is the real deal. You will make money, and you don't have to have a product to promote. Just get in that call center and take calls, read a script. You will make money.
I started my own personal business 10 days ago. On Friday, I have my first 2 sales come through, and I have more pending. You do the activity, you take the time, you talk to the people.
You will make money.
I am in love with it. I don't know any other way to put it.
I really appreciate all the value you give. It's a lot, right? I look up to you a lot. You're kind of a leader in an industry where there's lots of BS.
And by the way, I love your swag.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really? I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started here.
It's been one of those. Hey guys, it's episode 328. We're in the studios and we're all over here just licking our wounds. Let's just start to the left of me. How's your day been, Miss Lindsay?
Are we being honest? Or
we're on live. No, you can be honest for the folks.
The struggle has been real.
The struggle is real. The struggle is real. It's Mama said there's gonna be days like that.
That's right, she did.
Mama said, Reagan, how's your day been?
I'll lie. It was good. It was a great day. It was wonderful.
Hey, listen, folks. Sometimes you're just gonna have those days. But it's okay. What makes it rewarding is that you know that you're in control of your destiny. Mm-hmm. You're in control of what you're doing. You're in control of where you're gonna end up. No one said, and if anybody out there thinks entrepreneurialism is easy.
I'm sorry.
Call 1-800-673-1728 right now. Listen, the chat lines are open. We're taking your questions tonight. If you want to be on with us live, we'd love to answer your questions. And we have a special everybody, special guest with us tonight, all the way from Hotlanta, Georgia, a man after my own heart. He is the entrepreneur in the hot seat tonight at promarketingart.com. It's promarketingart.com. You've heard about him, you've read about him, and now he's here in the flesh. Mr. Joe Spears. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great, Terry. How are you?
Well, we've already complained enough, I guess. Yeah. No one's out there probably here tuning in to just hear us complain, I suppose.
Probably not.
Wonder if there was a full moon last night.
Well, ironically, we were talking.
Funny.
Isn't that funny? We were just talking about that.
I posted on Facebook today. It was like 9:30 this morning. I was like, would anybody believe me if I told you I'd already threatened bedtime to my children? And somebody said, it's the moon. Something's going on with the moon.
It has to be.
I believe it. I don't even have any questions. I believe it.
It has to be. I think everybody, we could feel a whole stuck on stupid segment just with conversations we've had to have today. But, that's okay. It's okay. Tonight, we're talking about how to make money making easier. Not easy. Listen to me. Hear me now or feel me later. I didn't say it was easy to make money, but I am telling you, you can make money in a much easier fashion if you have the tools, the training, and the technology to do so. However, listen to the words I'm telling you. Tools, technology, and then training on how to use them.
Like twice a week training, too.
Like twice a week.
That is legit for a company to invest in the people. Like twice a week training. You're not going to find that in most companies.
If I didn't care about my members' results, I wouldn't put my name on it.
And your name, it's worth more than gold.
But here's the thing. It's tools. It's tools. You got to pick it up and use it. It's not a genie. I don't sell genies.
It's not like my Nito vacuum that cleans automatically.
No, it's not. This is not Robo
Gotta
Auto.
push it.
Exactly. But once you learn these tools, guys, let me tell you something. Let me just show you right up front out of the gate what I'm talking about. Once you learn these tools, that was my last week. Look up in the top right-hand corner in your computer screen for those that are on the video tonight. If you're on the audio podcast, I'm showing a report from Clover. These are the folks that manage my passive residual side of my income. Last week, I almost bumped 10 grand. And the week prior to that, I'm normally around 6 to 7. Last week, I'm bumping 10. And that's not including all of the direct income I made from my own personal activity. What I teach and what I show you is exactly what I'm doing. I've got members that's been with me like Joe for 3 years, like Gary for 5, like Tracy for 5, like Jeff for 4.5. I've got folks that have been with me a long time making really good money, and I've got people that have just joined making really good money, and I've had people that are with me that have been with me for a year and haven't made a dime. Okay, so I want
bell curve, right?
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, it's the same tools, the same technology I use. Been using it for 10 years. A rating with the Better Business Bureau. You know, we've had a couple folks that have gotten it, and because it didn't make them rich in a week, they complain. But you know, such is life. And honestly, I don't criticize those guys, and I'm not trying to insult those guys. I feel sorry for them because they won't get out of their own way, themselves own way, to be able to do what it takes to be successful. And Joe, the reason I had you on tonight is because, you know, we talk technology a lot on this show. We talk technology about, you know, what our system does and what it can do and how I've used it here or there. But you have come on and just gangbusters and you know, done well with it. But Joe, would you consider yourself a sophisticated online technical person? Or what? How do you categorize yourself? Speak to the people about who you are and how you do what you do.
Terry, I couldn't even spell that. So, would be no.
I love Joe. He is so honest.
Yeah, I'm not technical at all, and that's one of the first things I admit to people when I start to sell them, that hopefully they're the technical one. Because I'm not going. I can help them with marketing. I can help them get up and running. But if you're looking for me to build your website, you need to look right around the corner. It ain't going to happen. But no, I'm not at all. I'm not sophisticated. I was in the food business all my life. I did very well in the food business. I started out at 21 with my own restaurant, and God was good to me and gave me too much too early. I'll say that because. And then you learn along life that everything that you touch isn't going to be like that. So
right.
Had some long good lessons learned. Had some hard lessons learned along the way, but did very well in the restaurants. And I got into the freight airline business in the mid '80s here in Atlanta, and enjoyed that. That was my hobby that I turned into a business, which was a very foolish thing to do. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I sold off my last restaurants and moved back to Atlanta from Florida, and I did insurance for a while. Then I learned about Terry's thing through buying leads. Very impressed with that. He continued to drip on me for about a year before I joined. Didn't do anything at all the first year. I just was busy wrapping up some business in Florida and so forth. So and I had to get my grip on it. When I came in, I thought it was going to be just like everything else, that I was going to come in and find a better way than Terry had, better way than everybody had. I knew about marketing. I do know about marketing. I do know about that, but I don't know internet marketing. So after about 3 or 4 months, and I hadn't done anything, I figured that maybe I ought to just see what would happen if I listened to Terry one time. And so I did, and I kept hearing the same story over and over. Take the phone calls. You'll make money, and sure enough, that actually worked. And I didn't have.
Who knew?
Who would have known? Who would have thought it? But I didn't have a fancy script. I used I learned the bullet points, and I just used talking off. Like I'm talking to you guys now. That works for me a whole lot better than trying to read a script or memorize a script.
Right.
But I really tried to build as much a rapport, and I've kind of got a a niche for myself that I've found to be very successful, and I've been working on that. I kind of came up with this, having been in the restaurant business down in Florida, and it's working very, very well. I've got had a dry month, which happens every now and then, but I'm coming back around. I've got about 8 or 10 sales that I'm going to close in the next few days. So
wow,
that's a lot.
It's very good. It's been good, and I think I'm on to something. We'll see.
Well, I think you are too. And I just wanted to break open some of the things that he said, Lindsay. First, did you hear he said, I've been with Terry for a year before I ever saw results.
I heard that.
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
And guys, now here's the thing. I brag about the guys that come on in a week or two because I want people to understand what's possible. But if you're out there and you started your business, you've started this entrepreneurial journey, and you don't see now, Joe had things that was pulling him to the side. Life got busy, but doesn't that happen all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would tell you the biggest deterrent to success a lot of times is activity, just stuff pulling you away, because you only have so much time during a day.
I would add too that some people probably have the mindset of my husband. My husband is an engineer,
right?
And he is studying your system intricately. He wants to understand it.
Right. He's going through it with a fine because he's a quality control engineer at a major car manufacturer here in Greenville. That we won't probably say the letters for. We won't say
the name of. But yeah, he zeroes in on design and quality and functionality, and so he is doing that with your website right now.
Right, and the training and the modules.
Yeah, he has to understand all of it, and some people that's how they thrive,
and that's fine,
and that's okay.
That is
and that might take a year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's going to happen is he's going to be like Joe. Once he takes off,
Right.
And one of the things, if you guys just heard what Joe said, he has tapped into a niche that he in the next week or two feels like he's going to close on anywhere from 8 to 10.
That's unreal.
Now, for you guys that are foreign to TW3, the average commission, because we got one package that's $450, we have another package that goes up to $1,500 in commission. That's what you make. The average is around $800 is what people make. Because you average out the low, the high, the mids. So if he just average $800 times 10 in 2 weeks, what is that?
That's a lot.
That's $8,000. And Joe, are you sweating for that money? Are you out digging ditches for that money? How are you making that money? I mean, what's your daily activity?
No, I'm not. I'm talking to more people probably than I have, but I'm being very selective about who I spend time with. I know what my niche market is.
Intentionality.
And I can tell you in 15 minutes or 20 minutes if this guy's going to buy or not. The two of the sales that I made in the last few days, last week was I made the sales in the middle of a fire drill going off in my apartment. And 36 minutes. I kept sticking my head out the door because I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be the last fool on the 6th floor. But anyway, and then
funny.
Another guy called, and I had the same problem. It went off again after a couple hours. But totally, I spent 36 minutes one time and 35 minutes on the first couple, and they were going to buy it. They did buy it. Second guy is going to buy a Elite. I spent 38 minutes with him, and I had a guy. I was telling him this the other day. A guy that I brought on that really is struggling a little bit, and I want to help him as much as I can. But he said, "Why in the world would you talk to somebody for 36 minutes?" And I said, "Because that's how I make my sale. Whatever it takes to build a rapport. I can talk to people about grandkids. I can talk to people a lot about." A lot of things that we're interested in, and so it takes whatever time it takes. But at $800 a sale, as you say, or $850, I feel like I've spent my time very well.
Absolutely,
that's brilliant.
And it's absolutely brilliant because Joe's tapping into something, and it might sound old school to some of you guys, but I mean I'm right there with him. It's the same thing I believe. That's the reason why I create these podcasts and these webinars. I can't talk to everybody I want to, so I've learned how to do it in a different medium.
Right.
But the reason I want to constantly be out there is because when you put yourself out there, I have learned people buy from people.
That's right.
They buy from people, and if they like you, they will buy from you.
Right.
And you've got to have the two things, and he just tipped on one of them: rapport, and you got to have authority. We went. I bought Gina a new van last week. Yeah. So we got her.
I'm gonna be cruising with her.
Absolutely. This thing will drive itself, as a matter of fact.
No.
It will.
What?
You put it on cruise control and it stays in the lines, so it don't go out of the lines.
Girls' night's about to get turned up.
And then the cruise control is adjustable, so whatever the car is doing in front of you, it'll pace the car. So if you got a car that pulls out in front of you, it'll sort of slow down.
That is amazing.
And it'll speed up to the maximum speed you set. So it's pretty cool. So my Atlanta trip's going to see the Braves. Hopefully it's going to be a lot more pleasant now. But I said all that to say, we went to the local car dealership here in Spartanburg because we knew what we wanted to buy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy didn't know what he was talking about. He was saying, "Oh, this model is above the touring model, and it's actually below the touring model is their top model in the Honda world." And this and that, or no, he said the Elite. We were wanting the Elite, and he says, "Well, no, touring is above the Elite." And because we're sitting there looking at it on the website, looking on the specs.
You guys are pretty married to Honda, aren't you?
We love Honda. Yeah. I guess it's our Pentecostal upbringing.
Yeah, I can't help it, right?
Should have bought a Honda, but that's just a joke.
I wasn't ready.
Do what?
I said I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready. Y'all, I got a whole thing about should have bought a Honda, but about a Kia. You don't even have to be. Never mind. I'm getting off into some theological weeds I do not want to be in. But anyway,
strike one.
But the guy didn't know what he's talking about, and he had the personality of a brick.
Oh man.
So we went down the road and bought it from someone else and actually probably paid just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they were able to answer our questions. It was personable. We liked him.
So true.
Folks. That don't matter if you're selling TW3 or not. Learn to build rapport and authority with people.
It's a skill.
It's a skill.
And that's what I built my business on. And it's actually like at this point, I kind of have a problem. It's a good problem, but I have so much rapport with my people. And like I have, about 700 to 800, give or take, people that I do business with regularly.
Right, just regular.
And I love them.
Right.
Like I know their
and
kids.
they sense that.
I know their husbands' names. I know their stories. And so kind of like what you said, you can't talk to everyone like you want to. It gets to this place where you're like, I love everybody, but I'm only one person.
Well, that's the thing, because I was getting a lot of pushback from not coaching after this month. The plus, and I said, it's not that I don't want, it's just I can't. There's just only
one person.
There's only one person, and that goes. And by the way, guys, that goes into the design of TW3 and the brilliance of it. But if you sell a $597 package with us, you, the sales rep and trainer, you get $450 of that. All we get is just the cost to get it set up and the monthly hosting. And the reason we do that, we give the lion's share to people like Joe and everybody else, is because they are there to be able to help and support, and they want to.
Right.
You met Joe at the conference.
He was awesome.
And just awesome individual. And we got some really good people in this business. I'm so proud. More than anything else, more than the technology, the people in this business is
every single person at the Elite Conference. I was like,
it's top shelf.
That's so neat about that person.
Top shelf.
That's so
Mark,
neat. And
remember Mark? And he was on last.
Yeah, I mean,
and Gary
and the
Dr. Dave, who
yes,
was on.
I was about to say,
Coach Dave. Coach Dave.
He's
and
always
guess who
Dr.
sold
D.
Coach Dave? Guess who brought Coach Dave on?
Who?
We're talking to him tonight.
Really?
Joe. Absolutely.
Way to go, Joe.
But see, Joe.
I like it.
But he's bringing on quality people.
Right.
And that's what
legit people.
Legit people. You know, not people looking to get rich quick, not looking for a genie in a bottle, but people that are legitimately wanting a legitimate thing that'll take their business.
Well, so many of these people that were at the Elite Conference are people that are already successful.
Yes.
In what they're doing. And TW3 is like a side hustle.
Yeah.
And then it can become, if they want to pursue it like that, but freedom.
Freedom.
If they're already doing something they love, this is just their hobby.
Total freedom. Mr. Reagan.
Hello.
You've been very quiet over there.
Sorry. I'm answering
so
questions.
what are our questions? Can we?
Right now we don't have. It doesn't look like we have any.
You're answering a bunch of tickets over there. It sounds like.
Yeah. No, Joe's got a lot of fans.
Joe has got some
Gary
fans.
Joe's in the house.
Joe's in the
and Jane are bragging on him and talking about how awesome he is.
Your fans are bragging about you, Joe.
Gary, Gary?
Beat that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, Gary does have some people he'd like to shout out, and
go ahead, give him the shout out.
Let's see, we have Brittany Fix, we got
Brittany,
hey Brittany,
Adam Rule,
Adam.
What's up, Adam?
Lauren. Yeah, that's 2 names. So Lauren Bradford. Sorry.
Lauren Bradford. Good to
Hello,
have you, Lauren.
And then Eric Chandler.
Eric, good to have you on
Okay.
tonight.
Whoa. My brother is named Chandler.
Okay.
My sister-in-law is named Lauren.
And Gary's going to
Crazy.
sell them to him. So
And
if you fall asleep, Gary's going to make the sale.
That's right.
And you better get on there. Well, guys, if you got any questions for Joe, if you got any questions for Lindsay, Reagan, or myself, you can go to terrywilson3.com/live, terrywilson3.com/live. The little icon in the bottom right-hand corner's got me in there looking like Guy Fieri going, and it just says live chat.
It never gets old.
That never gets old, does it? That never gets old.
And Spencer wanted to shout out Keith Begley. So make sure.
Oh, Keith Begley's on tonight, and he come with Spencer.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Keith, you're with one of the great ones, another elite member, and elite membership. Lindsay, talk to the folks a little bit about that and the power of that, because you just upgraded to that, and I want the people to hear from you on what that is and what it's about and the value in it.
So if you are going to do this and you're really going to commit to it and be serious about it, go in at Elite.
Yes.
The other things are great for like getting your feet wet. You can kind of take a peek in and see what's there. But if you really want to fully leverage everything that TW3 has to offer, especially the RMP links, like the access to those. Oh my goodness, we're looking at Max Bounty and we're going through and we're like, $600.
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah.
$600. And then, it's unreal. So I would say Elite is awesome.
Elite, and the other thing is the direct contracts. It's also the residual part of the income, because every time as an Elite member you sell any of our packages, you get that residual.
Right.
And not only that, I wanted to bring up something I don't talk a lot about, and a lot of people don't know about this. Now, some of my heavy hitters that have been with me a long time, like Gary Green, for instance, knows about the APS system. And I don't know if you've gotten
life goals right there.
Life goals,
life
right there.
goals.
Life goals, and those are the large ticket TW. And what someone was asking, what is APS? So what APS is our agency platform system, and what it allows anyone to do, rather than working inside a TW3 network and having the 3 TW3 products and packages and the commission schedules that way and the admin schedules that way and everything that's TW3, we take our complete system, we white label it, and we put it in your name, and it's on your network, and you sell it for what you want. And so, for instance, I've got insurance agencies out in San Diego that have bought the Elite, agency platform system, and their first, what we call our sales rep and trainer package, they might even give that first package away and say, you just pay the monthly $97 admin, because they're not selling it as they don't offer their members the opportunity to resell.
Right.
You join as an insurance agent.
Right.
And then you get
different purpose.
Different purpose. You get this platform. And then they say, if you want it to be able to resell and do other stuff, then you move up to, they had a package for like $29.97. Now, they only had 2 packages. But it was $97. And so you can slice and dice it however you want, but then you have access to all the tools that we have, all the digital tools. So if you're an insurance agent, real estate agent, or you've got any other sales organization out there and you want to have your own digital agency, then you got this.
Boom.
It's your name, it's your stuff, and that's where millions of dollars are made having that system. So but as an Elite member, that's the value of being an Elite member. Only our Elite members can resell that.
Right. And that was kind of, when I was Plus, I was kind of like, whew, talk about reach for the stars. Like, those are the stars to be able to sell that.
You make a couple of those sales a month.
You're good to go.
Because the commission on it, after you get the admin fees, after you get the upfront commission, is $18,000 per sale.
I could be okay with that
being
my only thing all month.
Could you suffer through for about $40,000 a month?
Yeah, beans and rice.
Joe probably can't. Joe would have to slow down. He probably, that's probably just chump change to him. But for the rest of us,
I need to know what kind of restaurant Joe used to have.
Joe, what kind of restaurant business were you in, bro?
Chick-fil-A.
I was in the IHOP business for 45 years.
And didn't you own several franchises?
I did. I owned one time. I owned 15 stores in 3 states.
Wow.
And
All
then
the
I decided to
pancakes.
get into the airline business. And
Wow.
I did that in conjunction with the IHOPs. I had a lady that or a girl that I was engaged to at the time, and she ran the restaurants for me, and I did the airline. And I had a lot of fun. The way you make a small fortune in aviation is you start out with a large fortune. Very hard business to make money at, but it sure was fun.
Look, you sound just like there's a gentleman by the name of Gilbert Haynes. God love him, love that guy. He gave me my chance in the music business. And there's one of the largest music retailers in the Southeast at one time was Haynes Music. And I worked for them for like 5 years, and I was going to go out on my own. And he says, well, do you know how to make $1 million in the music business? I said, no. He said, start with 2. So you remind me of his advice. Well, Joe, you've been in a lot of businesses. You've been in the restaurant. You've been in the aviation. Tell us, from your perspective, what you like and even what you don't like about being able to do TW3 and the way you can do this business versus the other businesses you used to have. I mean, I have my own opinions, but what are your opinions, and what do you think about the differences between owning this type of business online versus what you used to do?
Well, I used to go out and borrow, $1.5 million to build a store. I actually had to $597 if I emptied out my sock drawer, so I didn't have to finance that. That was a good thing. And the other thing is the amount of employees that I had when I was in the restaurant business. One time I had over 2,000 employees, and started taking blood pressure medicine at 30 years old.
Oh my goodness!
Seriously. And
you're preaching to the choir,
yeah,
brother.
I knew that. I know what it was. It was just all the stress, but. I'm able to stay at home, which is important to me right now because I am waiting on a hip surgery and what have you. But anyway, it's nice to stay at home, do my work with no stress. Do I get upset? Yeah, I do with some people. When I get sometimes we get people that I refer to as fools. That's FOOLS, fools. They ain't got no sense, so you have to deal with that aspect of it. But those are really few and far between because you know that if they can dial your number or fill out a form that they they have got some sense. But
got just enough
for the
sense.
For the most part, it's good. But every now and then you get and we all know that.
And here's the thing. I want to stop you right there for just a second. We have had an influx of new people in the last month. I mean, we're setting records. What that means is we got a lot of new people making sales, and that's great. But in that, we have new people making sales, bringing on new people. And I want to encourage you guys. Joe has done everything right, in my estimation, as he has brought on people, and a lot of you other folks have. But if you notice what he said, and Lindsay, you probably caught this, when he talks to them for a long time, why does he want to talk to them? Because he's wanting to make sure that they're right for this.
Yes, qualify our people.
Qualify the people, because just because they got a credit card and just because they say they want to do this
doesn't mean it's right for them or for you.
Or because they will wear.
And there are some people, and I've learned this the hard way, there's some people that I love them in the Lord, but I don't want their money. I don't.
Well, I told someone just yesterday, I said, I'm commanded to love you, but I don't have to like you.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain personality types that will just wear you out.
Well, because they don't want to take responsibility for their own, and that's usually the common denominator I have found. That I've got enough sense to, like Joe says, pick up a phone and call, and I got enough sense but I don't have enough sense to just read and if you have those people, and there's nothing wrong. Listen, everybody comes in at different skill sets, and I want you guys to hear something. The person that made that comment, Joe here, he's not some technical guru, some internet sophisticate, but he has figured out his niche in his business by taking the time and learning certain principles and things and how to use it, and he is making good money.
Well, if you figure out what you're good at and go with that, you can go far.
Absolutely. But Joe, I would tell you, this is my opinion. You push back. What's your opinion? But I never had 2,000 employees, but I had 22 employees, and I was already on medication in my mid-30s because they were wearing me out. And I would still rather have because I've got it down to about 1 out of 25 clients now, or I call them problem children from time to time, and we have vetted them, we have done everything we can, but you still have that person, and you coaches and trainers out there, you're just going to have that from time to time, because there's a ton of people out there that have dreams of greatness, dreams of making 10 grand a week, 15, 20 grand a week, 40 grand a month, whatever they're dreaming. They have those dreams, but they don't have the temperament and the commitment to see through and see themselves through the frustration sometimes that they have to work through, because they got to pick up this or that or the other. But Joe, my point is, I would rather deal with that problem child 1 out of 25 than those 2,000 employees in that payroll. What do you say?
I fully agree. It's it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of things you can't really have control over that you are expected to have control over, and the way things have gotten, it's it sure isn't easier these days than it was 25, 30 years ago. That's for sure.
Gosh, yeah.
It's become much harder, but I like my stress-free job. I do it when I want to, but I do it more than I should. I'm a workaholic. I found myself on the phone Tuesday night, and I think I told Terry this. I was on the phone at 5 minutes till midnight with somebody that just had to talk to me that day. We had been trying to get a hold of each other all day, and it was fine. But
they're going to come on, aren't they? Or have they come on yet? But you
betcha they are. No, they are. They're doing some research. They like what they see, and so yeah, they're coming.
So I mean, guys, as Neil Craig said, the deal is real. 10 years doing this, but you just got to take the time and work the system if you want the system to work for you. What do you got over there, Mr. Reagan?
So we got a few questions coming in. I want to make sure we get to them. Raised my hand, but I wasn't ready. Silly me. Let's see here. Well, I'm trying to pull it up.
You raise your hand while I'm in the middle of a thought. I'm going to stop that thought. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. The Braves are up 10-1, top of the 8th.
Hey, that's a win.
I feel slightly embarrassed because
you should probably not watch.
It is distracting.
No, I'm saying you'll probably make them start losing.
Well, I do have that effect.
Yeah, you have that effect
on
the Braves.
I do have that effect on the Braves. That's why, I want to go watch them play L.A. this weekend, but I'm scared if I go down there, they will inevitably lose.
That'd be funny. All right, so Spencer asked, if you're going to generate leads for another business, can you give an overview of how you would recommend structure it and go about it?
There is a training, and Spencer is an elite member, and so I'm going to answer him and hopefully give value to everyone else as well. There's a training in your back office called the 3 Ps to marketing, and it's in the elite package, but it goes into greater detail, and it's actually a recording of the conference in March. But in any training, there's three tools in TW3 suite of tools that you have. You have an engagement tool. That's how do you get in front of the client. You have a capture tool. That's how do you capture their information so that they give you permission to market to them. And then you have a conversion tool. So the biggest mind hurdle that new people have because what happens, Lindsay, is we give them all these tools and then their eyes just roll back in their head. Oh my God, how do I use all this? And you have to dissect it and understand the roles that they play. So a voice broadcaster, a bulk texter, a bulk emailer, these are all engagement tools. What they do is they break in and interrupt someone's day. And so you've got to pick out what engagement tool am I going to use. And then once you have that engagement tool, you then figure out, how do I capture that information? Is it going to be an opt-in page? Is it going to be an extension in your call center?
Yeah.
Right, because you got to capture that, your name, number, and email.
And the opt-in can be useful for numerous engagement tools.
Numerous.
Opt-in is clutch.
That opt-in, if there's one skill set everyone at TW3 needs to learn how to do at some point, is how to build opt-in forms and landing pages, just because 9 out of 10 times that's going to be your most optimal. And
I recommend the PDF. I love the PDF for learning that.
How to do that. And there's a training, because some people like the videos, some like the written PDF, and there's a PDF training back there. But you have an engagement tool, you have a capture tool, and then you have a conversion tool. Once I've captured this lead, how do I convert them from...
What do you do with it?
Right. And so, Spencer, do you have a way to use these tools to, I don't know, what was the exact question, Reagan? Are you over laughing? Are you on Facebook now? Have you just checked out on us?
I can promise you I'm not on Facebook. I can assure you. Let's see. What was your question?
Spencer's question. Repeat Spencer's question.
Oh, okay. If you're going to generate leads for another business, can you give an overview of how you would recommend structuring it and going about it?
So, knowing you've got engagement, capture, and conversion, then you have to know what I said up front, the 3 Ps: people, product, process. People, product, process. If I know what my people are, then I'll know what my process is. And my people always are defined by the product. What I'm selling defines who buys it, and who buys it defines how do I engage them, capture them, and convert them. There's a training in your back office that goes in great detail about that. But as an example, because that was a vague question, I'll just give you a specific example. If I was selling final expense life insurance, I know that is the senior market from the age 50 to 75. I know the senior market. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to bulk text or bulk email them. What I want to do, I want to voice broadcast dial them.
Right.
I want to leave a voicemail that says, hey, this is fill in the blank, and I give them a compelling reason to go to a call center, because I don't want them actually going to an opt-in form, because I'm going to lose them. Because they'll get frustrated, their browser doesn't work right, or on a mobile phone they can't and they're done. And so I'm not going to convert them. So I come up with a very engaging script that we teach our members how to write a very compelling script that's going to get at least a 2% response. And then they leave that. It's going to cost them $38 to use that dialer. They're going to leave a 15-second message on a voicemail that's going to compel at least 2% to call them back, if not more. If you're not getting a minimum of 2%, you're not doing it the way I teach you. And 2% of 2% of 1,000 people is 20 leads.
That's enough to keep you
20
busy.
leads. You spent $38 in voice broadcast dial time to get 20 leads. Anybody in an insurance business that's got a stick of sense knows that it costs you $25 to get one exclusive lead.
Yeah.
And we're giving you 20.
Right.
So do the math. And then if you know how to capture them, Mrs. Jones, and we have a process that you capture them. That's one way. Let's say I was selling health insurance. Who buys health insurance? It's typically people that don't qualify for help from the government. Okay, so they got to be employed. Right. They got to be of a certain income. And then they don't want to talk to people. Usually it's like real estate people, professional people. So I voice broadcast dial them, but I leave it on their voicemail again. I have a very, very compelling reason. That's how I made my bones in the insurance business. I knew how to dial realtors. And I send them to a landing page this time, because they don't want to talk to people. They're not like the senior market. And they're sophisticated enough to know how to navigate this stuff. Yeah. And they go in, they opt in, and then I've got an autoresponder that's just dripping on them. Joe, you said you were on my autoresponder for how long before you became a member?
A good solid year.
Good solid year. Joe saw me somewhere online, somewhere on the internet. He said, I want more information. And then I pestered the fool out of him until he either said, go away, or I'm going to buy this.
Right.
I like how those are normally the two options.
Yeah, that's
see,
what
what's
it all
one or
comes
the
down
other.
to.
It's a binary decision. Well,
I'm interested.
So, can I pick your brain for a quick second?
Pick my brain, pick my nose. No,
no.
Messing with you. Go ahead.
So I have a friend, and she is in the insurance business.
Yes.
And she recently just stepped on with her dad, who has a very successful insurance business. And I've been trying to strategize how to capture them.
Is her last name Cook?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. And they have our policy, actually. They set Justin and I up. Anyways, they posted an ad recently, and it was a very heartstrings ad. Like, what would you do if something happened to you and your wife and kids were left behind?
Right.
And it had a picture of a wife and young kids,
right,
kind of deal.
Right.
So I know that they're by bringing his young millennial age daughter on, I know he's trying to start to dabble in that market, and I know our tools could be amazing for them. What would you suggest that I go in with?
Well, knowing the insurance business, they're either selling life insurance, property and casualty insurance, or health insurance. If you're selling life insurance, they're selling final expense to the seniors. They're selling term life insurance to young folk like you.
Term. Yep.
They're selling retirement plan products like universal life products and stuff like that. And so what you would do is go in and you say, here's what we call our plus package. It gives you a whole suite of marketing tools that you can use to market life insurance, term life, whole life, universal life, final expense, whatever type of life insurance you want, because it will show you what the market is, how to target that market, and which tools to go after. And
Okay.
I've got, especially for insurance, because that's the world I come from.
Right.
I've got training back in step 7
Yeah.
that gives those insurance training. And if you go to terrywilson3.com/YouTube and go under insurance, there's a whole bunch of training right there. So you can just say, I'm a representative of this company.
Yeah.
Watch this video. Tell me
So
what
you
you
would say
think.
plus, though. You would go in plus.
Well, a sales rep and trainer only has the training to resell the system.
Oh, I wouldn't even consider that.
And they're wanting to use the system.
Right.
So you have to sell them the plus. Okay, and by the way, guys, when you're out there selling these systems, make sure you sell the right system to the right people, because if you don't, what happens is someone bought the sales rep and trainer package for $597, and then they're asking for support on how to do this, how to do that, and we don't offer that. We only offer support at that level on how to resell this.
Right.
And that's it. Cool. Yes, sir. What else?
This one comes from Brittany.
Brittany, good to have you with us tonight.
She says, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. I signed up as a sales rep and trainer last week and getting everything set up to get started this week. I'm excited to be part of this team. What kind of advice can you offer a new sales rep and trainer in the call center?
Absolutely, Brittany.
Great question.
Great question. So once you get steps 1 through 5 done, study step 6, which is basically how to convert sales. And the name of the game here is activity. Joe, speak to activity, because, I mean, you're coming on strong, but you said the reason was your activity. So Brittany just came on, so what would you tell her?
I'd tell her to the same thing you're saying about the activity. And one of the things that I see happen a lot, more than I even want to think about, is someone will join in, they'll put a couple of ads in on Craigslist and be disappointed by the results and start thinking about kind of whittling down on the Craigslist ads, which is absolutely the most awful thing you can do. I've had to prove it to myself again and again. If things are slow, that's the time you need to be spending a little bit extra money, and it's hard to do sometimes. I realize that. I get that, but you just got to do it, and that way you've got people in your pipeline. I've got a pipeline full of people that I haven't had a chance to talk to.
Sure.
I'll get around to them, but I've got these people that are going to go for sure, so I'm going to pay a lot of attention to them. But I'll get back to these people that have indicated by filling out the survey that they're very, very interested, and they just need a little prodding from me. And that's where you need to be. You don't want to get to the end of the road and think that you got 5 deals ready to close, and then all of a sudden those 5 have kind of gone by the wayside, and that does happen. And suddenly you've got no momentum to fall back on. You're starting over from scratch, so you're going to have a couple of weeks there where it may be tough to get something going. But you just got to do the advertising, you got to do the activity. That's all you
got to do the activity. That's great. And another thing, Joe, and I stress this a lot. Whether you're using social media, Craigslist, SEO, whatever strategy you're using to drive traffic, one of the other things I would tell you is don't be afraid to recruit affiliates, because remember, we have that affiliate side for free. Why do we do that? Because once you get people out there in the highways and byways pushing for you, it helps. And number 2, that's a built-in audience and market that you can sell leads to. Because keep in mind, you have all these tools to capture leads. You pass it off to your affiliates so they can help you convert those leads. And then all of a sudden, you're offsetting some of the expenditure of all this activity through the sales of your lead generation. So that's another strategy that a lot of people overlook a lot of times, and it's a great way of getting your money, your operational cost out of the business real quick.
I got another one here. This one comes from Eli.
Eli, good to have you with us, Eli.
Can you talk a bit about, can you talk a bit more about the sales training apart from reading/learning the script, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so the sales training is, there's really, is he asking about the ways we support, I guess?
Let's see.
I'll answer it like you're asking, how do we support and train
the sales training apart from the reading/learning of the script?
Yeah, the sales training, there's more than just a script in your back office. As a matter of fact, what I'll do, for those who are on the podcast live, you get to see this. For those listening to it later, you won't get to see this, unfortunately. But you can go to terrywilson3.com and look for episode 328 and see this later on. It will be in your back office. excuse me, in there where you can see it. But I am going to pull up our back office so that you can see. If you'll notice right here, the first 6 steps that we tell you you've got to do is right there, okay? And every week I have a live training, and that's my silly face right there. I love the way, sometimes when the video software captures a frame, it always captures me with this awkward look on my face, and I hate it. But anyway,
sure, blame the software.
Well, okay, what's my face?
No, it does it to me too in my business.
But you have 6 steps right here to go through, and the training is laid out systematically. And so the way we support you, Eli, is number one, there's just tons and tons of video training and PDF written file training. Then in the bottom left-hand corner, there's support. If you got a question, you have ticket support. The person who sold it to you, the reason they're called trainers, sales rep and trainers, plus rep and trainers, elite rep and trainers, is they're your point of contact. And then I have a Wednesday night live training with me. Now, I'm not going to have that in the month of September. In the last week of August, I'm taking that month off. So I do take about a month or 2 off a year. So in those months, you don't have weekly training, but I normally post a video back there. But outside of those months, you'll be able to talk to me just like you are now, posting a question, and then I go in your back office and I illustrate that, okay? And so you've got your rep that's training you. You have hours and hours and hours of video training. You have live training with me on Wednesday night. You have ticket support training. So we're trying to hit you on 5 days. Now, here's what you don't have. What you don't have is Terry Wilson on call.
Oh,
you
no?
sure?
Well, yeah, well.
I can't just
You just
call
can't
you
pick up
any
the
time of the day or
phone
night?
and just say, I need you to, and because we had someone going sideways. That was one of the things. That's why I say it must be a full moon, because I'm very explicit about, there's one of me, there's a few of you guys, and there's thousands of them. So there's no way we could just, I don't know, how to turn my computer on, or I broke my cup holder on my computer.
Can you come over and fix it?
We don't do that, okay? The way I'm able to support as many people as I'm able to support is I'm very thorough on how. But see, what you should be doing is you should be going in your back office and watching this and repeating, watching and repeating, doing exactly step 1, do this, do this. We give you everything. It's illustrated on video, and then it's written out. And then for those things that you don't understand, you fill out a ticket support, or you call. If ticket can't help you, you call your recruiter. If they can't help you, you bring it with you Wednesday night. And one of those 3 or 4 ways we ought to be able to help you, because your trainer is there for phone support. But now listen, some of my good trainers, some Joe and Gary and Mark and Tracy and Peter and man, we got 10 or 15, 20 of them just knocking it down. Well, the better the trainer, the busier he's going to be. So you got to work with them as well. I mean, you could probably, if you're with a really good one that's just knocking down a bunch of, they know what they're doing, so you might have to wait on them, but the time that you're going to spend with them is going to be much worth it, just like me. I can probably give you enough information in 15 minutes that it takes other people a couple hours. But I'll give you, and I record all mine because I'm going to be speaking fast, giving you a lot of content, and you go back and watch it later. But that's the name of the game, and you have to have a little self-initiative, self-start. You got to be able to problem solve a little bit on your own, But Lindsay, help me out here. Are you technical?
Oh, gracious, no.
Were you able to get back here and?
Yes, I'm able to do the things.
Okay.
I'm able to. Yep, I can watch my videos and the PDFs. I mean, okay, like the PDFs, spell it out.
Yeah, just click here.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then honestly, I don't mean this in an ugly way. This ain't for you.
It's not your gift.
This ain't your thing.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's totally okay.
I feel like an episode of Seinfeld. Nothing, there's anything wrong with that.
Well, the thing is, we have enough steps to where even if a PDF isn't helping, even if a step isn't explained well enough, whatever it may be, there's ticket support.
There's enough nets that you're not gonna fall.
There's a ton of safety, but what they don't have is on demand right then. Pick up a phone.
No, absolutely.
No,
I feel like sometimes people think I may be avoiding them, or I'm trying not to talk to them, because I get a lot of emails in a day. But I'm not trying to avoid anybody. It's just it's not the most effective way because it'll be a few days.
I've told you guys not to respond to personal emails. Make them fill out a ticket, because then I or one of the other guys, including you, can respond to it. But if it's going to one individual person, then you're waiting on that one individual person.
Right.
You were out for a couple days the other day, and so
I think highly successful people have very organized calendars.
Right.
And I know for me personally, it might, if we say, yes, we're going to talk, we might put it on the calendar for a few days out. But when that time comes in my calendar, you've got my undivided attention. I have organized my entire life so that I can devote 100% of me to you.
Absolutely.
And our trainers are pretty good. I mean, even if
our trainers are,
we'll make I've done it in the past. We'll make a personal video just for you to help explain whatever it is you may be struggling with. We're not going to leave you hanging. It may not happen, right when you need it, but
I can honestly say I don't know of a bad trainer in our business. I really don't.
Awesome.
Now, I do know of a couple people that have tried to join in the last 8 days that we've said, no, we don't want your business, because they got a reputation of not helping their people, or being one and done type people, or being nefarious, and so we do a lot of vetting, and we teach our members how to vet, because we just don't need that.
Right.
We don't need it, because I feel like we do everything as close to right as possible. I'm not saying we never make a mistake, but man, we do it, and we still get people that you didn't make me a millionaire. All right, Reagan, go ahead.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think so.
Joe.
Yes.
How long's Joe been with us? Mark wanted to know.
Mark wants to know how long you've been with us, brother.
About 3.5, 4 years.
3.5, 4 years. 3.5, 4 years of nothing but just total Joe bliss.
Bliss. I was going to use that word, bliss. May I give a shout out to Greg and Carol while I'm talking?
Absolutely. Greg and Carol. Well, are they on
They're
tonight?
New Plus. They should be on tonight, yes.
New Plus members with Joe. Awesome.
Woohoo.
Well, I tell you guys are with someone, and Joe, I appreciate you letting me use you tonight as an illustration that making money does not have to be super complicated or difficult.
No.
I mean, because Joe's just hustling. He's just hustling. He's not doing all the fancy schmancy stuff. I mean, we got it to do. You got the tools to do it. But man, he's just hardcore, just talking to people, using the system in a very basic way to bring sales, qualified people to him.
Yeah.
And just being personable and just being caring to people. It's just amazing how the thing I love about entrepreneurialism is it forces you to improve yourself.
Absolutely. You can't be an entrepreneur
not
and
a successful
stay the
one.
same.
No.
You have to grow and change and get
you,
better.
You can fake it on the clock.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but, sweeping floors, doing a job that's just a job, doesn't force me to improve.
It doesn't inspire greatness.
It doesn't inspire greatness. That's one of the things I love. I told someone the other day, I says, if you really want to improve your Christian faith, become an entrepreneur.
Yes, Lord.
Because the fruits of the Spirit are going to be tested.
Oh, yeah.
How much are you full of yourself, or how much are you full of? Because Joe mentioned it. You'll run across occasionally, that one person. But you just have, the good book says, dust your sandals off, keep on rolling.
Well, you gotta call out that self-control
in
your life,
and don't let negativity, because negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, Doubting Thomas.
Nobody wants to be friends with them.
No, well, they're out there and they don't want you being happy, because when you are successful, this is one thing I've learned. When you are successful, when you're making the kind of money you can make in business, when you're having a life go right, it challenges the people around you. It does. Now, I'm not saying flaunt it. I'm not saying because I'm not better than it. But some people just don't want to be around because of, then it all of a sudden it puts the focus of why don't I? Now, and people internalize that poorly sometimes in an unhealthy way, rather than it being inspired by it, rather than being, I'm going to rise to the occasion. They want to, and so the reaction is to tear you down. You know, rather than raise myself up to, you know, I could, if Joe, not this Joe, but this Joe, the Joe in general, but if this old boy from a terrible school system in a impoverished area can make something of themselves, then
why not me?
Why not me?
That speaks to the psychology of people, doesn't it, though?
It really does.
It really does. And the entrepreneurs, though, are the ones that are going to give it a whirl.
Absolutely.
And then the haters are the ones who are going to stay stagnant in whatever career path or job that they're stuck in. Unless they love it. If you love your career,
if
there's
you
nothing wrong
love
with
that, then do it.
Nothing
But
at all.
man, I'm telling you what, there's nobody that's going to pay a college drop. I went to college for what, 6 weeks and dropped out?
I'm on book more educated than he is. At
This
point.
boy over here is more. Nobody's going to pay me what I pay myself.
Yeah. Well, and then there's me. I mean, I have a master's degree, and I don't need it at all for my job. Don't even need it.
And that gets into a whole political argument about the value of education, but, you know, we'll leave that alone.
Oh, I could light mine on fire. And
Well, I'll keep it light. I think that's why people pull out in front of me on Highway 9. They see I've got an open lane. They see I'm going to be making where I want to go on time. They see I'm doing 60, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna pull out. I think now
his day.
I think now is a good time to pull out in front of him and go 20. That's what
You
I'm
sound
thinking.
like Justin.
I have a lot of issues with
On
it.
the way to the podcast, I had a board meeting I had to attend, and I was in a hurry to get back from North Carolina. Rural roads.
Yeah.
Back here.
Some guy on a tractor pulled out in front of me,
Nope.
I'm sure.
I'm driving, and all of a sudden this guy comes around a curve in my lane.
Whoa.
And I go off into, you know where the grape field is over on the right?
Yeah.
I go off into the grape field.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
almost hit me. I thought I was going to die because,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like that.
Oh, that's the worst.
And,
Did he stop? Did he?
no. So, I mean, I'm in a ditch.
Yeah.
You know, and barely get out.
It's not in the new van, was it?
No, I'm in the old van. I'm not in your mom's new van. And it was like, it's just that type of day.
Wow.
People, and I probably want to end the show with just encouraging everybody on there. Sometimes people are going to swerve in your lane. Sometimes people aren't paying attention. They swerve in your lane. And that's why being in business, being an entrepreneur, you guys out there that are coaching, because I've had to talk to a couple of you today. You've had some problem children. Don't let negative people bring you down, because there's some people that just you can say it to your blue in the face. If you will work the system will work. No. I want to do it. If what you were doing was working, you wouldn't need me. And that's what, not me personally, but the person.
Literally, I mean, your name's on the site.
Well, I'm talking about that. What I'm doing is encouraging the client, our members.
Right.
If they knew what you knew, they wouldn't need you.
That's right.
They wouldn't be calling you. So you need to have the posture that you're not apologizing, you're trying to help, but you can't help people that will not take the help that you give them in the means that you give them.
They have to be willing to follow directions.
You
plain and
have
simple.
to. And I'm not, guy. And so you guys out there, I know one of the reps that I was talking to today, I mean, he's like over $5,500 last week. He's one of the newer guys.
Wow.
And he made a ton of sales.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh my God, this person is just going crazy on me. And I was like, listen, you're going to have that from time to time when you're working with people that they say they want more, but they still want to go eat. They want to lose weight, but they don't want to come to your gym. They still want to hang out at McDonald's. It just don't work that way. It just don't work that way. I wished it did. I mean,
hey, sign me up.
Absolutely.
Well, Gary wanted to say he really enjoyed talking to Joe at the Elite Conference. He's a very cool guy.
Well,
I second that. Joe's awesome.
Joe's a great guy.
Likewise, you guys. That was probably one of the. I've been to a lot of meetings all over the country for a lot of years. I was on every board that there was with IHOP, but that was the most effective, time well spent. I felt like I gained a ton of knowledge, and I had a good time with everybody there. They were just down to earth, good, solid people.
Joe, I really appreciate that.
We're going to have to do it again.
Yeah,
We're going to have to do it again. So if I do it again, you're coming, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, wouldn't miss it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you guys. I'm honored that people showed up tonight and asked questions. And I'll put it this way. I meant to mention this up front, so I'm going to have to do it till midnight. I tell you what, if anybody wants to onboard with us tonight, what we will do as an incentive come on as a Plus member or better, we will give you a free sales funnel.
Wow.
We'll set up a funnel for you for free, because when you get into our system, what you're getting is all the tools, the landing pages, the blog. You're getting all opt-in forms. You're getting all these tools, and we show you how to put it together, brand it as yourself. But what we will do is come in and build your funnel, set up a funnel for you immediately. That's awesome. So you don't even have to spend your first couple of days doing that. We'll do that for you. But you got to enroll before midnight tonight. It is 9:59 Eastern Standard Time right now, so that gives you 2 hours. Enroll with anybody, doesn't matter, with Joe, with me, with Lindsay, whoever. If you got Gary, Tracy, whoever brought Peter, whoever brought you on tonight, Mark. And I know I'm forgetting tons of other people, so I apologize. But whoever your recruiter is, whoever your trainer is, you on board with them tonight, you are going to get a free sales funnel, which is $127 value. And just so you understand, the way our system works is tools, training, technology. We have these tools, we have this technology, and we train you on how to use it. And then what we do is come alongside you. And Joe, didn't we set your site up? I don't know if we did or didn't. I can't remember.
You did. You sure did, yeah.
So what we do is we say, hey, if you don't want to spend the time, in the weeds of building your own blog, building your own website, building your own sales funnel, building your autoresponders, if you don't do that, we will do this service for you, this service for you, this service. We have it laid out. If you want to set up the full website, it's $197. If you want us just to set up your sales funnel, it's $127. If you want us to set up your autoresponder only, that's what, $29. Yeah. So we've got each and every, but we're not here trying to sell you more services. We want you to be able to do it yourself, but
generally we encourage you to actually study and build it yourself.
We encourage you to do it yourself.
It's valuable.
Yeah, it's valuable. But that being said,
but if you cannot,
if you're getting to the point where you're frustrated and you're calling me everything but my God-given name, then stop. Then just
busted.
I'm gonna shoot him. Then stop and let us do it for you, because we don't want you standing still. We don't want you marking time. We want you making money. We're here to help you. And if that means doing some of this for you, then have one of my, all you're doing is paying for their time to come in and do it for you. They go into your system, they go into your software, they go into your website, and they set some of that up for you. So we've got that for you. Yes.
Oh, I'm good. Sorry.
So make sure you do that. Joe, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed being on, and I just want to send a shout out to Reagan. I think you do a great job, Reagan. We all appreciate your hard work and diligence and so forth.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot.
He works hard. He really does. And I tell you what, he cares. He gets upset when he feels like people aren't getting the service that they need, want, desire. And so he pushes really hard to make sure everybody's questions are answered, and that the brand, the shield here, as we call it, is represented correctly. And so we appreciate you saying that, Joe. I really do.
Oh,
well, you guys named him Reagan. That's a good name to be named after, if that was it. They could have called you Billy Carter.
No,
true.
And I know you don't know who Billy Carter is.
Oh, we know Billy Beer. we know about Billy Carter. Well, we try to wane away from things of theology and politics, but I do dip into it from time to time because I can't help it. But I will say this:
3 times a show.
3 times a show. They give me 3 strikes, but we believe, as one Reagan once said, in strong, rugged individualism. And no one cares more about your prosperity and what you do in life than you do. And so I believe in entrepreneurialism, and Mr. Reagan was one of my favorite presidents, and I was proud to name my firstborn son after him.
Aww.
So
that's why my kid's going to be named LeBron.
LeBron Jr. But Joe, you can call him Trickle Down. All right, guys, we're out. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com. If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com or call 800-673-1728.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really? I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started here.
Is this the celebrity, Terry Wilson? Oh my word!
How you doing, sir?
Dude, don't even go there. I've been listening to this for a while, and I'm finally like, okay, guys, what a privilege. I mean,